Baldur's Gate 3 just dropped some pretty big news on us with an interview. So, we had some pretty large things that were done in the Dropped Frames interview today, and that was an interview with me, JP, Co Carnage, Ezekiel the Third, interviewing, I'm going to probably say his name wrong, but I'm going to try my best. Sven? The CEO and CEO, since I can't speak, founder of Larian Studios. And there's a lot of different information that has been dropped, but we're going to be going over a few of them today. The big thing is they've had some questions come in that were taken directly from their audience about what can happen. And in this one of the questions were, how will races and classes that you would choose affect dialogue, right? If you are playing a Dragonborn or something that's a little bit more out there, are you going to get different reactions from people whether or not you play a dwarf or human? And Sven did confirm this, that yeah, when you're going to be playing a class that's not going to be as common in the area that you're in, which is I want to say the Sword Coast, if I'm remembering correctly, the continent of Faerun. I don't know why Sword Coast popped in my mind, but depending on what you play as a race, it will affect possible dialogue choices that you'll get, or at least things that are said to you, which I thought was pretty interesting because, yeah, I guess depending on your class and what you bring in there, right? Especially if you're like a drow, you're probably going to run into a bit more problems than you would if you were just a normal elf. But the biggest influence of all things that we'll be experiencing is going to be class. Classes are going to have the most dialogue and the most choices for you to have when it comes to interacting with other people. And this isn't just limited to the class that you choose. If you multi-class, you'll also have other options, right? So if you go rogue and fighter, you'll get the fighter and rogue options, or wizard and cleric, you'll get the wizard and cleric options. And with the removal of any kind of requirement that is needed to multi-class, that means that you could open yourself up to a lot of different dialogue choices that you otherwise normally would not have available to you if you just played a single class, which is really, really good. That means there are a lot of different ways that things can happen depending on your class, which means lots of different playthroughs that'll have completely different experiences. He didn't go into I swear, this guy speaks a different language when he talks. He didn't go into, is what I meant to say, too big of the specifics about what class will be getting what. He did, however, Spin did talk about druids, and druids are a real hot topic recently if you haven't seen the bear scene that's been going around that initially popped off a lot of hype a few weeks ago. So he talked about druids and how their ability to shapeshift, and they can shapeshift into lots of things, whether it be cats or cows or rats or other animals. And one of the things he talked about is how when you're able to shapeshift, you're able to talk to those animals, and those animals will also give you additional options. For example, you can turn into a cat and intimidate a rat, and that rat might give you information that you can use in one of the quests that you're on, or one of the story points you're looking for clues or something like that. But one of the biggest things that I think that actually surprised me is when he was talking about character creation and the origin characters and all the ones you would choose and the new ones that have been added. One of the ones he mentioned was Dark Urge, and he said that you probably shouldn't play that on your first run through. But we'll talk about that more in the next video. I'll see you guys later. Bye.